Okay, unlike last time, I've done a little bit of prep work before we get into this. Primarily, I've changed this ahead of time and I've also taken care of the skip text. So let's get a-going with Fountain, the music that plays during Lorem's time. Let's start translating right away. Let's get to it. What a clumsy as fuck sentence. I went to the bar Lorem suggested as meeting place. Guess it works. Suggested. Like, the problem is that word. Like, the funny thing is when you can directly translate it. Yeah, that's better. Voorgesteld. Oh wow! What? Why is Bryce there for no reason? Does Bryce ever come up in the snow? They also know cut content, which makes sense since he's a backer character. I assume that a large amount of creative control was put in the hands of the backer. And generally speaking, the creator didn't want to put anything there that he wasn't going to keep in, you know. It's like with the Dean, it makes sense since, you know, their main character should get the fuck around a bunch, but with Lorem, I assume there was some tightness implied. Can I say, by the way, Lorem does have a good theme music. Like, I'm impressed. Gotta say, though, these theme songs, they are in my head. They're all in my head. I've just never listened to them actively, and it's like, no. Lorem. I mean, it works, but his name is already so fucking clumsy. Like, the thing is, lore works fine, but Lorem, like, you have a lot of low tones, and it starts to like, in proper Latin, it's Lorum. Lorum. Let me actually fucking pull this baby up. Let's pull this bitch up. Let's pull up Latin. Not Latin American, just straight up Latin.
Lorum. Lorum.
Why are you sounding so...
Lorum.
Yeah, like, it sounds fine in Latin, but it doesn't really... Oh no, it's Lorem. So it doesn't work at all. I'm saying Lorum because, you know, that sounds more like it.
Lorem.
Yeah. Like, there's a lot of low tones in there. Why did I say Lorem? Because there's so many low tones that Lorem is more what you like to say to Lorem. And even Lorem doesn't work very well. Lorem. It works... Oh, it's because of Dutch. Because then the E becomes like this low... Lorem. Lorem. No, can you do that? I don't know anymore. I'm starting to doubt my own ability to speak my own language. Well, hot ziggity! I don't know why the fuck every single time I add a T to y. Okay. Now we reach an option, I think. Like, listen, fucking dude. You can take this little menu, and you can put all this shit at the end. Also, this, yeah, you can put this at, nah, I guess that it's already here, but still. Come on, man. There are better ways to do this shit. Like, you can make it a boolean, and then have the music start again. There are ways to remove this redundancy. It makes it, like, you know, like, it's really strictly speaking, but that's how I work. It's like, from a very strict programming perspective, you could streamline this process and it works a little bit better. This, by the way, I do like that there's a little pan change. I guess panning was originally much more part of scene transitions. And here, like, this shows up everywhere. I assume there's some sort of standardized thing that either cropped in at every single place early on. I assume the warning was removed because it's not really that interesting of a warning. Yeah, also this is a little too sassy. Like, System being sassy in achievements is fine because they pop up once and then you're done. But saying this every single time as you go through, you're like, Jesus Christ, System, cool it the fuck down. There's no reason to be this chitty chatty. Okay. Let's go to the options. So I made a couple of changes. It's like, I'm here now, and that's what matters. You know, trying to capture that idea. Just fucking well, man. How often does well show up? Can you count the amount of occurrences? I guess it doesn't tell me. Count. Really? Only 14 matches, huh? It's still a word that shows up a lot, surprisingly. I guess this one's a little lighter on it. Maybe Lorem himself actually wrote this crap. Mr. Goldkin. You know, I constantly want to say to myself, I'm just being jealous when I say that I'm annoyed by this, but at the same time I realize Lorem's not a good story, though. And I think it's because of how it's planned out, because, again, Lorem's a shy little boy. He doesn't want to make friends. He keeps distance of people because of who he is and because of how he grew up. And that's a great arc you can work with, but the first 2 chapters are none of that shit! So you get 2 dates, and they're not what they're supposed to be. The first 2 dates should have been Lorem remaining... Like, I know it's an interview, and it's like... But there's already sufficient distance that Lorem's desire to keep distance doesn't come up. Like, he tries to keep it professional, but that's the point already! And then the second one is like he comes over, and it's still that professional situation. It isn't until the 3rd date that he's actually confronted with the situation, and it feels too late by then. And then the 4th one's like, oh, it's a revelation. It just doesn't feel as punchy as it should be. I don't know. I feel like it's a great missed opportunity to have a character who just doesn't want to be friends because he's afraid that it's not going to work out. And then the player sort of has to want it, you know? Like, you have to get through that. It's like with actual depression. Depressed people are like, I don't want to be helped. I'm not worth the effort. So you can make it like that. You can make it that you have to actively hang on to him as he tries to shake you off. And then you realize this and you can help him. That would have been a much better story than, at the end, suddenly you have to make a decision. By the way, this decision doesn't actually impact whether or not you get the good ending. It only just... God damn it. Also, I think, yeah, Lorem's like the one guy who... Yeah, no, he dies because of his... Yeah. I think he's the most disconnected. Like, Adine is the map because she wants to explore and do shit. It's related to her death because it's an alternate option. Anna is she actually wants to fight and not die. Bryce is... Maverick shows up for some reason. I forgot that one. Like, that was such a bad one. Mostly kind of messy. Yeah. And Remy is... He has a little buddy that helps him out. And he's like, I want to live! But Lorem is like, it's the ball, and the ball isn't related to anything in that fashion. It's like the one... Like, it would have been better if Lorem was the one who lost the ball, and he feels super bad about it, and getting the ball he also returns a bit of his confidence instead of just being a weapon. I don't know. It's like, in order to get the good ending, you gotta get the Master Sword. You gotta get the Master Sword, Link, you can't get the good ending. It feels like that, instead of, like, you're helping someone with a problem they have. Like, it's still part of it, but it's always part of it. I don't know. So I changed a bit. She's like, nah, it's not true. I was just here very early. Oh, fuck, I'm not at the... Okay, I need to make sure that I'm translating this properly. Why is this the one that gets you +1? Like, am I late implies that, you know, you're feeling sorry about it. I guess Lorem doesn't want someone else who's feeling sorry about himself, huh? So, the problem is, he says he's glad. I know that's supposed to be sarcastic, but that doesn't translate as well in text. Like, you're supposed to avoid this kind of snarky comments unless you got the right kind of stuff. Like, he's normal. He's relieved. Why would he be talking like Anna can do it, because Anna's got that snark. But here it doesn't work, so I'm just gonna be like, well, it's better than if you didn't come, you know? It's like, it's not saying he's glad, he's just like, oh, it's better than if you didn't come, even though the mood is kind of soured. It's trying to capture that feeling without being the sass. I might have to change that because that is a bit of a jump and a skip and might be dangerous. It might change context and change the dynamic between characters as the player plays. Important things to consider as you're translating words. Yeah, I'm gonna remove this. It works fine that way. It really just captures an idea. I'm very surprised you picked a bar for this meeting. Yeah. And if there's one thing that fucking annoys the living shit out of me out of Lorem, is this kind of line. It feels so flat scientific. I can assure you I'm a fully grown adult. I feel like he's about to shoot braces at me. Ugh. Like, this happens enough that it's something that pops out to me. I think. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just misremembering everything. Your memories are very pliable, people. You do not have the memory you think you do. It's all lies. Illusions. So I'm going to keep that trend and make him sound like a stuck-up dork. Look at this. Lorem has a lot of, like, consecutive conversation. Like, he keeps the conversation going, if anything. At this point, at least. Which kind of makes sense. He's nervous, so we'll be talking a lot to try and keep silence from ever happening. So this is kind of hard to grasp. Now that we're talking about it, are you a grown adult, basically? Isn't adolescent not even a full adult? Fuck. Solve this mystery for me, machine. Oh, it's with an S. Ah, fuck. Yeah, that kind of works for this scene. Because that's kind of the question he's asking. How big do most people become? Like, what's the average? And how big are you compared to them? Like, I don't know. Like, why does he say stack up to? That's a weird thing to say. Especially when we're talking about heights. It's like a pun. Ooh. So this is a little bit different in structure, but it reads a lot better as a result. It says, before we talk about this, I first want to know why you're having this interview. You said you're a reporter, is that right? Like, you're trying to remain friendly. Like, for no reason to start being an asshole, but it's like, you really? Is that true? Did he say he was a reporter? I don't even remember. Let's pull up chapter 1. I gotta say, though, these tracks loop very well naturally. I am surprised-owed. Lorem. Oh, yeah, he actually says no, but, yeah, he never gets that out of the way. Okay, I gotta remember that. This is why part fucking translation, you gotta go back. Okay, so it's kind of, I decided to change the sentence up so that it sounds very cute, so it sounds a bit better. A reporter would have never gotten past Sebastian. Like, it immediately counteracts that point of, like, yeah, I'm not. And I thought yeah. Nah, I'll just put this in. Let's keep the sentence mostly the same so that it lines up better. But yeah, I think the sentence carries the same idea. It keeps the same emotional charge. Like, yeah, a reporter would never get past. That is a bit sassy for him, though. That is a bit, So this one works the same, but it carries a little bit of extra punch. Sebastian would have not even let me touch the doorknob. It carries the same feeling of like he's not allowed to see you. I mean, I like my original sentence, but I think it's a little too different. And this carries sort of the same trend. Like in the first place, I don't know if that works well. I don't get this at all. I don't get this at fucking all. Lorem has some of the weirdest options that increases mood. Like, it's subtle nuances, and for some reason this one is better than that one. You get no feedback on this in-game. Look at this. Like, I already complained that his writing's a bit ugh. But look at this. Although I think that also happened in the other ones. It just seems to be a thing. No, I think in the other one I complained, but at least then it, you know, wasn't too bad. Here it's like you can already score some negative points just being a little bit eh. You don't want to start off on that. You don't know what he wants. I mean, this makes sense. I know you can get it that it's like, oh, we're a video game? What about video games? I don't know, this just feels like a nuance that really doesn't need to be there. Why is the... Like, this is something kind of odd, is why is the protagonist suddenly saying, excuse me? I don't know. This sentence feels a little bit different. Did the backer get input on this, or what? Because, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just having a bias. This is what bias is like, isn't it? Like, you see things that aren't there, and you don't know it's there. And then you start to think about it, you're like, wait. That was me all along. I was video games. And the video game was me. By the way, you should totally watch some Dishonored High Chaos videos, because, Jesus Christ, some people can pull off some sick-ass stunts. Ooh, they're so sick. They're slick! Ooh. Yeah, Lorem. You know, considering that you literally suggested this location, you'd think he'd have a better preparation than what he has. Jesus Christ, Lorem. Prepare your shit. Also, this is indeed very small. We're already quite the way down. I'm gonna say authentic, because fuck it. That's the kind of word you use. So this is like, I'm gonna explain all the way from the beginning, and then you can decide again if I'm worthy of your time. You know? Oh wow, that's an option. I'm actually interested in playing Prey on easy mode, because fuck making that game difficult. Doesn't look fun difficult. Looks fun though. I like picking up shit and having little cubes! Little crafting cubes. Ooh. This doesn't work at all. Like, the term college is very different. Ah, how do I change? This is a very weird sentence to translate. Yeah, this is a little different. It says, the city doesn't really align with my diploma. You know, sort of the idea of, yeah, there's not a lot of opportunities here. I like how his plan is it's expensive, but he moves in with a fucking friend! Like, that already cuts expenses in half. Jesus, Lorem, you're moving through the emotions like crazy. Look at this! He's constantly cycling! What the fuck, Lorem? Dean at least keeps a straight face for a couple of sayings. You're like, oh, ah, god damn! Chill! Here, finally managed to fucking chill a bit. Oh. Although, admittedly, he is nervous, so he is just cycling through a million emotions at once. I'm working on a video game. I think there should be a golden rule that you're not allowed to mention video games within a video game if that video game they're making is related to the video game you're playing. The reason is simple. No matter what you're doing, it's the kind of fourth wall you don't want to break. If it's comedy, it's a joke that's been done before. If it's drama, it breaks the drama. If it's action, why the fuck are we talking about this? You know? Like, you can do something else and you can try to make relations that way, but if it's a literal translation of the idea, it doesn't work. Like here, it's community simulation. It's still pretty close to what this is. You know? Like, I think it's kind of hard to make that connection. I guess it's probably better than anything else. Although at the same time, it doesn't really contribute anything the way it's set up. I don't know. It doesn't feel as good. I've been making up my mind a lot. It's a lot of thinking and then realizing and then thinking and then realizing, and it's really awkward. Because it makes me feel dumb. When in reality, I'm smart for realizing that I was wrong and that things are not as they appear to be. You're smart for admitting you're wrong and then taking the right answer instead of sticking to the wrong, incorrect answer at the first place or not saying anything at all. Learning is being wrong, people. Learning is being wrong and nothing else. If you didn't know it, then you were wrong if you were ever asked about it, you dipshit. Can you spell that, like, attached to one another? I think you can say, I think you can just say video game. Oh no. Wow. Een elektronisch spel. Whoa. What? Why is this just one L? Why is this with one L? Huh. 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 Oh well, I guess that's video games for you. You got it! You got it! You got it! You gotta let go. I can't imagine that Lorem feels too happy about the fact that everyone thinks he's adorable in that sense. I mean, he wants to be friends, but I don't think he'd appreciate being treated like a little bop. At the same time, there's another problem that I have with the RP server. I'm really not liking that server anymore. One of the main administrators is doing some lore stuff that I am just hating the living crap out of, and a lot of character arcs are just resolving, and a lot of stuff is happening, and I can't keep track on it, and just a lot is changing on a fundamental level, and I don't like it. Because it feels like they are not using the world. They're using the world as a backdrop for someone else's world, you know? It's like, oh, Izumi, this character who's been super fucking mysterious, is just gonna straight up tell people about you. Really? Really? Have you played the video game? Izumi has never helped the dragons directly in any significant fashion. Why would she suddenly just be like, hey, dragons, I'm fine talking to you now. I mean, I solved the problem, and there might be problems in the future, but fuck it. I don't know. It doesn't just add up to me. Not to mention the fact that everything gets in the way of my characters, too, and that's the worst part. And they're not doing anything with it. They just seem to be playing a lot of bit rolls all over the place. Which makes it all the more annoying. It's like they're playing bit rolls, but they're constantly throwing things over, and I don't see any character development. Ugh. Or maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe I'm being angry. Maybe my biases are growing ever stronger, and I need to become ever more conscious of the fact that I may be saying shit. I still think it's dumb, though. Like, I'm not going to change on that opinion. But I might change on the opinion of how strict I am about it. But I'm thinking of leaving, though. I'm thinking of straight up leaving. Because, fuck it, I don't want to deal with that garbage anymore. Ugh. I can deal with a lot of garbage, but not that kind of garbage. The snowflake ending, fine, but it's going way too much its own direction. Oh, fuck no, I was translating these. So, here are some slight differences. You did get, this is what you went through all that trouble? A video game? Oh, and you said this was a serious business. Serious business. With ties. Adjust that tie. Adjust your tie! Ooh. Man, could you imagine? Humans are like, video games have existed with us for years, and you've only just started picking up on this shit? Here's something you don't want to hear. Video games are now a generation old, you fuckers. Let me actually look that up. How long is a generation? Yeah, video games are now a generation and some old. You know what that fucking means, you dipshits? That means that there's a generation who thinks video games are fucking rad. Growing up. Evermore. Those people who are thinking, oh, video games are evil, they're not going to be sticking around for long. So this stuff is going to be interesting to look at. As a perspective of these people who don't have video games. They don't know about it. They don't have their own personal experiences in fantasy worlds. I mean, I see little dipshit kids say, no, they don't understand. They're just playing those fucking shitty phone games. And they're just typing and looking at the pretty colors. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, man, just give her some keys. Jingle, jingle. Back in my days, we needed keys. Like, I can understand that Lorem has some, like, preconceptions as to, like, oh, we need to promote video games, and oh, we need to promote humans. You're not that person, Lorem. Why don't you get in contact with Emira of Cultures and Arts? If you get in contact with the Ministry and propose your case, you'd probably get some more help than this. Like, why didn't Lorem go to Emira about this? This seems like something that Culture and Arts would be interested in, if not whoever the hell is assigned as the ambassador between the two, other than the human. Like, I feel that this character could have done a little bit better than he actually did. Sorry, Lorem, but you're being a dunce. So, my God, Lorem, you have the perfect talk. Why didn't you go to the Ministry about this? They got the PDAs. You could have probably gotten some look into that. But no, you go to the human, you don't organize anything, and you're just kind of futzing around. Jesus Christ, man, Lorem. Like, again, that's what makes his story kind of awkward as well, is... like, I understand you don't have the qualifications for this, but considering they're just catching on, how would they know? Like, God damn it, Lorem. You little babe. Little Bob. Little bibbidi bobbidi boop. I mean, you come from before the whole happening, so you're probably familiar with a world where video games are huge. So what the hell? Who is R? He is working alone. One of these means side, and one of these means silk. Or they mean both things. Does this even exist then? No. I'm full of shit. Lorem, it really sounds like you're pitching the video game I'm playing to me, if anything. Man, Lorem, you're really short. Why is this one so long? This is 1600. Why the hell do I have so much to translate? Oh, I guess it's because, yeah, every single one of these lines adds 4 extra lines, so... Considering it's a lot of just... Look at this! Look at how much straightforward chatting this is. Oh, man, Jesus Christ. Like, this is boring. Say what you want, but when you are presented with a choice... Let me talk about the psychology of video games! When you're watching a movie, you're expected to passively sit there and just not give a shit. You absorb it, and you don't care. Books, you are drawn in because it is you reading. You can turn off your eyes and look away. You cannot stop listening to a movie and be attracted to all the lights and the sounds and things. Reading is active. Video games are also active. They require input. When you go without input for this long of a stretch of talking, the player drifts away mentally and stops giving a shit. They just stop caring. You need to interrupt that. It can be a little option. Just like, do you agree with that? Like, yeah, you know, like, show that you're there or not. And that would be cute. It's like, oh, you're not paying attention, are you? Doesn't happen. This is boring talk. This is what bothered me about Kevin. It was so much straightforward, boring, uninteresting, non-interactive talking that I was bored and felt like I was being lectured more than I was playing a dating game. Where's my date in this? Where's my date? This is Lorem just talking to me endlessly about what he knows. Look at all these text boxes he gets. And how much I am just not important to this situation. I have nothing to do here. Oh, there's the comments. Oh, I get to talk about myself a bit. And then Lorem just goes on and on about himself. Look at this. These are 1 boxes, but they just do something. They break up the monotony a little bit. Like, here, we get a couple more, yay! But it's so boring, Lorem! Stop being boring! Ah! Let's pull out Kevin. Like, Katsuharu was a cute little scene. And I think that's what salvaged Katsuharu, is that he was cute, and you were kind of drawn in because it was a cute, dumb little story, and a bunch of characters showed up. But Kevin is him standing in the same spot, talking! Nothing happens here but you guys talking in the exact same room for hours! Thank you, system, for summing up my thoughts. Here's a bit better, though. Nope, it's going there again. Ah, look at this. Look at these non-options. Like, what I think happened is... Look at this fucking shit, man. You get nothing. What is the point? Like... Dates 3 and 4, fine. At that point, you've established a relationship with someone, you're serious about this, you're sort of emotionally coasting through it, and everything that happens because of how the characters interact as they've been established before, which is nice. Like, at that point, being an asshole doesn't make sense. But why, Lorem? You have dates that don't align properly with the concept of having a mood. Your mood is you just say yes or no, and you're just a dick or not. It's not like questions or situations or opinions of your character that flow through and give something interesting. Maybe it is, but there's so much boring stuff in it that it just doesn't work as well. Let me show you a Dean's date. Here's it. It's not a Dean's date. Here's Remy's first date. Look at all this shit. Look at this massive part about books. Isn't that exciting? That draws you in. That makes you, ooh, get some books. Ooh. That's exciting. And then with Bryce, you're a drinking game, and you get to say drunk, stupid shit all the time. With Dean, you get a truth and dare question. And with Anna, it's just... Lorem gets nothing. His dates are garbage comparatively, because there's nothing to draw you in. Anna shows that she's smart, Dean shows that he's cute, Bryce shows that he's a drunkard who's a buddy chum, and Remy shows that he's a smart nerd. Lorem just talks. I'm angry because I have to translate this talking! And it's just as boring to translate as it is to read in the game. Ah! That feels good to get off my chest. Time to readjust my opinion on the new information I'll get. Wah, wah. That's really nice. Wait, why isn't that between this then? Oh, whatever. Leave. Yeah, I think leave is not easy to translate. Leave. Het verlof. Leaving. Vertrekken. Ah, that's a good one. It doesn't work well in most situations. I need to find a better word then. Yeah, it doesn't work. Like, if you say it as, I'm going to leave, it works. But if you say as to someone, leave, it does not work. You say, go away, hadach. It just doesn't work. It's just not video games. Goldkin is probably going to see this with the way I'm going to title this video, and he's going to be like, meh. Listen, no critique to Lorem. He's cute. He's a fine character. But putting this in the context of being a video game, it doesn't work. This feels a lot more like a read-your-own-adventure book than anything else, where one page is way too fucking long for its own good. You know? Like, that's kind of the thing, isn't it? Is in a read-your-own-adventure book, you have to keep switching, and that's basically what visual novels are. Why does this one give Lorem so much non-interactive chat that does nothing, except maybe give him a mood point? But for the most part, just passes. Why does it not have to put pass? I guess that's why options do the same thing or something. I don't know, because whenever the option doesn't have anything in it, it always just says pass. Whatever. My throat hurts a bit. I think I'm not going to record anything else today. My hands still need to rest, and for the other part, oh man. Fucking video games, man. I'm glad I did not open my window despite it being warm, because if people heard that outside, they'd be like, oh man, don't just shut up. That's a fucking terrible sentence. We're gonna have to translate that later down the line. So at some point, stay also comes up, but leave doesn't? Ugh. So in a moment of excitement, he says, yes, that's actually something people exclaim nowadays. And he says, big thank you, big thanks. Big thanks for big boy. Oh. Like, he has this minimalistic you're going away. I do love that every single date has a you can just fuck off option. If you're going the evil route, you can just fuck off. You can tell Remy no on his books. You can not go with Anna on the date properly, and she's like, oh, fuck off. You can close the door on Nadine. You can tell Lorem off. And I guess Bryce you could say no to as well. Like, you can just cut off the date early if you want to go evil, and it's not bad. It's like, you're a little disappointed, but you don't rub it in. You don't grind them into the ground with your heel before they go away. Oh. Look at this. Well, come on. Well, that's not very Dutch, and that's actually starting to get to me. So this is a bit threatening. It's like, I hope it for you. Instead of I hope so, which you could say. You could say dat hoop ik. I hope that. You know, like, I hope so. You could also say I hope so for you. And the idea behind that for you is you say for your sake I hope so. So that's a bit more harsh. And considering you're just picking up and leaving, it makes sense that you'd be a little bit more harsh about it. So I added that Lorem stays behind just to clarify that you get up and leave and Lorem just sticks behind and probably cries to himself. I have the power to write that in, but I'm not gonna because that's not my role. Oh, that's why. So, this is changing it a bit. At least I don't have to be careful. I changed the sentence a bit because it tries to sort of set everything up. A journalist would twist my words to get a good article out of it. It tries to capture the idea of that a reporter or journalist has a specific intention with an article, which is to get something good out of it. So it's much more likely that they would twist your word. I don't know. It's like here in the Netherlands, we're not as concerned about this. This isn't as default an option, so I kind of have to make it clear that, yeah, a reporter would just abuse the situation, if anything. So this is phrased a bit differently. It's mostly verbs, but the general context is very much the same. What you're going to tell me is going to have influence on how the humans look at my game. This can refer to looks, but it can also refer to how they are presented. I don't know. I can't think of something well, because the direct translation again. It's not bad. Yeah, that's a good one. See, this is why I like to put them through Translate sometimes. It gives me better words. Man, that's some bad tap water. Normally it's good, but today it tastes a bit soapy. Yeah. Kind of like bottled water. I got like 2 bottles. One 2 liter, one 1 liter, and I drink through them very fast. I'm a big water boy. I don't know why. I don't pee that. Actually, I do pee a lot. It might be the only reason I haven't gotten diabetes so far. It's just drinking far too much. I don't know if it helps, but I don't have diabetes, and I'm happy with that. And I'm actually working out lately. I'm doing some exercises from time to time, and I get up out of my chair more often than I should. And as a result, I do feel better about myself. And I do some meditation, and I try to take a daily walk. Like, when I started doing that, and it's only been a couple of days, I already feel better. The exercises are more, but the daily walks have been recently. Feel better. Just do something. Do something that you can feel proud of, that's not too difficult to do, and you feel better about yourself. It might be arrogant, but you're doing something. And if you just keep pushing a little bit up every single time, as long as you take one step on the staircase every single day, getting higher up and higher up, doing more every day, at least you've done something. And you can look back and say, wow, I've come a far way. Like, I started off doing just a couple of reps, but now I'm lifting entire beds above my head. You know? Like, that doesn't have to be the end point. Maybe you'll just stop at like 20 every day. Fine. But you're doing something, and you can look back and say, at least I did something. At least I didn't throw away the opportunity. At least I was proactive, and I did my best. It might not have been enough, but sometimes enough isn't enough. Or, whatever. I think it really... The problem with lately is, it's been very chilly for how much sun there's been. So it's very difficult to say whether I want to keep my heater on or not, and now it's one of the hot days. No idea why. It was fine yesterday. Jesus Christ, look at this sentence. I'll treat this delicate matter with the required finesse. You're not a government official, Lorem. Talk like a human being. I want a word for utmost. I couldn't put it in there. Whoops. Actually, I don't think names are generally mentioned, so we can just remove this. Okay. God damn it, now all I can think about is Saitama going, okay. Like, how can you not think, okay? That fucking flat face. The large balloon with a tiny okay in it. It works so well. It makes me goo. Please hold. And I love how you just turn it on its head. Also, this is the perfect, look here. This is a question that should have been in a menu of several options you could pick. You could ask, why does he want to make this game? What is the general idea behind the game? Like, what is your penultimate goal? What is your best situation? What do you imagine the game looking like? Who is your audience? You know, some actual good questions, and we just get one. The most obvious question, yes, and probably the most likely question, but at the same time, I don't know. It feels like you could have just gotten rid of this one and make that the one, and then via that you can sort of imply if Lorem likes it or not, because like, oh, you have actual interest in video game development, you understand the nuances, that gets you the plus point. Or it could just be something flat like, why should I give you this opportunity and not someone else? You know, and sort of shrug him off. That would have been great. Like if the options were, why do you want to make the game in the first place? The other one is, how do you think to implement this properly in a fashion that the dragons would understand? Like, how are you going to present this so that dragons would be interested in it and not just see humans as another character in a game? That would have been a nuanced answer, and everyone would, wow, you understand something about video game development. Or, the third option is, why should I give you this interview and not another video game developer? And then Lorem would have been like, oh, and that creates a much more organic situation than Lorem, fuck off, Lorem, okay, Lorem, okay. Just saying, there's a lot of opportunities here. And the reason I talk about that is, we get a lot of this boring chat. Put in some exciting questions. Make me feel like a sunset sarsaparilla. My mouth is dry. Despite the water. Yeah, that's the part that gets me too, ain't it? Dude, why would you ask that? Like, the point is literally that people would be interested in a real human, so a game that is based on information from a real human will be more interesting. Oh my god. I think I'm gonna have to stop, just because I'm talking too much. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, like that's the point. Like, why didn't you think about that, you dumbass player character? I can't imagine a human mascot. Something about that's just weird. Like, an anime mascot works because it's so stylized, but a fucking human mascot just sounds weird. But look at this. We're already running out of options, and we're not even halfway through the date. Isn't that, like, it's with a certain amount of T, small schools? Yeah, it's 2. Like, so many of the options that are against Lorem are rude and mean and dismissive. And I understand that works because Lorem is being bullied and that's why he doesn't want to make friends, but at the same time, it just feels so obvious. Like, a dean discredits you if you want to be rich. And here it's like you're just being an ass. I don't know. Some nuance is lost. Also, my breath stinks, which is weird because I brush every day. So this is a bit different. It says, as long as it looks like reality, I'm fine with it. It just captures the idea a bit better. Why is it stinking? All I ate was some rice crackers with chocolate on it. Are they bad rice crackers? Is this what rice crackers smells like when you start breathing out? Or maybe it's just my room. Although I haven't done anything that would warrant this kind of stinkiness. And this is not a smell I'm familiar with either. Also feel sad for that System Shock thing that happened recently when Prey came out, and Prey basically captured the same idea. I really want to hear some people talking to me about this. Be it they agree, or they agree a little bit, or they disagree a little bit, or they disagree on every point. Because I really do think that Lorem is kind of a controversial topic compared to the other characters. Because he does have a weaker arc in terms of dates. Like, now you really just get into a talk about humans and video games, and it's just... Like, when you look at Anna's conversation, her personality bleeds into the quiz, and the quiz is a core element of who she is. And the answers all line up with it. Like, she doesn't like it if you say you got lucky, because she doesn't believe in luck, or something like that. And Remy just doesn't want you to take... And I think that's kind of the thing. I guess that's why I shouldn't be too critical of those very big jerk options, is in Remy, you constantly get the option to flirt with him, and he hates it. I love how humans are this universally loved that there's a fucking TV show and everything. And nobody made a human video game! And no one approached you is the point. Like, wouldn't there already have been mail like that? Or do they screen mail that vigorously? Like, even in the early days of video games, there were video game companies that would do this kind of shit. What the fuck? But yeah, I'm reaching the end of my Latin. We'll go up to this point. What is bucket list? I don't think that's a proper translation. Let's put bucket list into Wikipedia. Because for long lash is the kind of stuff you use for like Santa Claus or something. Really? It's called a... So it is just a wish list, huh? Interesting. There we go. I'm gonna call it quits. It's been an hour, and I'm honestly full of shit. Tomorrow! We got a couple more. Should I go another one? Nah, that's a big chunk. So next time... I guess one thing to consider, though, is the options kind of have to align with the situation, because the ending has a certain text and nuance to it. Oh well! See you next time!